Greetings, YouTube. I'm not sure how many of you have looked at the calendar lately, but it's the year 2012. We are into the second decade of the 21st century. And yet, for some strange reason, it seems appropriate in America to be discussing women's contraceptive as some sort of political football. I'm baffled by this. The issue seems to be that in America, there's a certain group, namely the Catholic Church, that would like to discriminate against women who want access to contraceptive sources through their insurance, particularly women that work for the Catholic Church that may not themselves be Catholic, or if they are Catholic, still want access to birth control. It's important to remember that 98% of Catholic women use some form of artificial birth control during their childbearing years. That's 98% of the Catholics. I'm not sure what the statistics are on non-Catholic women, but I'm really shocked if it's not going to be at that level or even higher. So the compromise was cut that the churches themselves wouldn't have to fund this kind of contraception, that the insurance companies would. And yet there are still people saying that this is horrible. It's terrible. Now, this kind of thing has popped up before, many times before, and never before has it ever been a controversy. But now it is. Now it's a political football because we have an election coming up in November. But, you see, I think women should have access to contraception whenever they want. And I'm going to state explicitly, I want my tax dollars going towards contraception. I think that anyone in the United States, citizen, resident, visiting alien, I don't care, who wants contraception should have access to it. Heck, I think anyone who wants an abortion that is legally allowed should have it paid for by the state. Why? Because people who don't want to have children should not be put into a position where they are forced to have children. Then there's also the whole concept that, you don't have a right to control any uterus that isn't yours. Now, a lot of politicians in America at the moment are all up in arms about this whole concept of healthcare reform because they say it's putting the government between a U.S. citizen and their doctor. Well, can you think of many more things as intrusive as putting a boss between a U.S. citizen, an employee, and their doctor? A boss saying, nah, I don't want you to have contraception, you can't have it. That seems pretty darn intrusive to me. I think that most people think it would be intrusive. But apparently some politicians don't. They seem to be okay to the concept that an employer could just categorically say, yeah, women, they don't get contraception. That's twisted, folks. You are aware that women constitute half the population, right? Half the population who have the ability to vote. So maybe, just maybe, they're not going to vote for politicians that want to limit their access to contraception. But I'm wacky. I believe that people should vote in their own best interest. And let's face it, if you're female in America right now, there's a whole lot of politicians you shouldn't be voting for. So I'm interested in hearing, of course, what my viewers have to say. I'm sure that many of them will not agree with me. I'm quite used to that by now. So, have you checked your calendar lately? Are you aware that it is actually the year 2012? Because, the politicians in America don't appear to be aware of that.